Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Did you know that we're just as much as microbial cells as we are human cells? Our microbiome is regulated by various types of microbes, with some of the most abundant being bacteria. When you hear the word bacteria, you might experience a negative association. However, not all bacteria are bad. In fact, some bacteria are essential for everything from our mood to weight to immunity. So how do we nourish these good bacteria versus bad bacteria? That's why we're really glad to be chatting on IG Live today with Dr. Kristina Telhami. Dr. Telhami is a doctor of pharmacy, certified functional medicine specialist, certified integrative health practitioner, holistic health coach, and a best-selling author. We're going to discuss the role of gut health plays in our overall health, including hormone production, how to feed good bacteria in your gut, signs that you may have too much bad bacteria, and much more. Let's go. Hi, Dr.
How
Telhami.
are
How are you?
right? I'm like, oh gosh, this is kind of far close up.
There you go.
Hello, how are you? It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for doing this with us
Oh,
and for such an interesting topic.
yeah, I love doing lives. I just hopped on a live earlier today, so I'm always down to chat. I love talking, so I'm excited to be.
Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your background, like how you became a health specialist.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I am a licensed pharmacist for the state of California, and I think a lot of people are confused how I do what I do. I've been studying functional medicine throughout my conventional medicine schooling, but I had a lot of health issues when I was younger. I had no period for 8 years, gut issues. I mean, you name it, I was dealing with it. And the only person that was able to help me was a functional medicine practitioner. But I still stuck with pharmacy school because I think it's really important to have gone that route, learn about medication, and also learn about what's still being taught, especially because a lot of my clients go see multiple doctors or they have, they're on multiple medications. And if I hadn't gone that route, I don't think I'd be able to help them as best as I can.
Wow, that is so true because when you're on multiple medications, and I also think many pharmacists are just trained in Western medicine, not knowing so much about supplements and herbs, and knowing like the medication or supplement interaction is like hugely important, especially for complicated cases.
No, it totally is. Like people don't realize there's a lot of supplements that you can take in herbs with medication. So I'm so glad I went that route. But also, it's crazy to me, like going to conventional medicine school, everything is completely outdated. Um, Nutrition information, obviously things about gut health. I mean, stomach acid, which we can talk about, but I would send articles to my professors and they would literally laugh at me. I would try to argue with them and they would shut me down. And it's funny because here I am now, running a successful business and I'm going to laugh in their face instead. That's so mean, but it's true. I was miserable in school.
So today we're talking about gut health, which you mentioned, like what role does gut health play in our overall health?
Yeah. I mean, gut health is so important. I don't think people realize it. Any of my clients who are struggling with immune issues, autoimmune disease, 70-80% of your immune system is in the gut, you guys. If you're struggling with acne, which is something that I dealt with, it was a gut issue. If you just have digestive issues, hormone imbalance, a lot of these do relate back to your gut. So if you are completely lost on where to start on your healing journey, I always tell people start with your gut health because it really does impact everything. And I mean, I could talk about this for hours and hours, but it really does impact your hormones. I mean, we have an entire gut microbiome dedicated to metabolizing and breaking down estrogen. So if you're having estrogen dominance issues, maybe look at your gut health first.
So how does gut health influence hormone?
How does what?
How does gut health influence hormones?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of mentioned first,
Mm-hmm.
you have an entire gut microbiome dedicated to metabolizing estrogen. Another thing is if you are not breaking down or digesting your food, you are not having a daily bowel movement, you're not detoxing a lot of those excess estrogen and toxins from your body. So therefore, it's just going to get recirculated back into your body and going back through your liver. We need our liver to have thyroid conversion. We need our liver to, again, break down our food, break down estrogen. And so you're going to have crazy hormonal imbalances, even if you're just not having a daily bowel movement. So sure that you are pooping daily. People want to do all these crazy detoxes and they're like, oh my God, I need to detox all this estrogen. Well, are you even having a daily bowel movement? Because that's the case you should look at is, are your bowels normal and are you pooping every day?
Since we're on sort of the detox topic, we actually have one audience putting a question before the live. Is asking, is it normal to have cramping and slight pain during a GI cleanse?
Oh, this is a good question. So, GI cleanses, I hate that term, but if you are on a gut healing protocol, let's say you did a GI map or another stool test and you're trying to kill off a lot of this bad bacteria, you may have die-off symptoms. So what does that mean? It means when you're killing off all this bad bacteria, you may have worse symptoms. So yeah, you may have more stomach pain, more bloating, more cramping, more constipation, diarrhea, acne. You may feel sick. You may feel more fatigued. So sometimes it is normal, but I do say, if it's been 3 to 4 weeks and you're still feeling that way, that's definitely a red flag. But some minor symptoms, it can get better before it gets worse. You may have some diet. So it definitely could happen. But if you are really sick and like not feeling well, like sometimes it could be a red flag as well. So it
makes a lot of sense. So talking about bacteria, what makes a bacteria good versus bad?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we have good and bad bacteria in our gut. And anytime either you can even have elevated good bacteria. So it's hard to say this is a bad bacteria because technically, I mean, a bad bacteria might be things like viruses, C. diff infection, things like that, but you can actually have elevated good bacteria as well. So you just want to maintain good balance. I think a lot of people are, oh my God, I just want all the good bacteria. They're taking a bunch of probiotics. I mean, honestly, guys, I've had clients where there's, when we do a GI map, a lot of their good bacteria is also elevated, and this can also issues. So you really do want to maintain good balance of both good and, obviously not have too much of that bad bacteria.
Mm-hmm. So what are some things that feeds bad bacteria versus like feeds good bacteria?
Yeah, and I completely have a post on this. The number one thing is stress. Stress. At every single one of you. A lot of my clients are like, I do everything right. I eat amazing because obviously bad bacteria love to eat processed foods and sugar. So really trying to eat real whole foods. That's another one. But they're like, I do every single thing right. But they are chronically stressed out. And this stress can be coming for exercising. This stress can be coming from a relationship that you are in, from extra work stress, family, whatever it might be. And they don't look at all of their mental and emotional health. They're just at the food and the protocols, which is great. But if you're freaking out and you're very type A and you're stressed out all the time, that is going to shut off your digestion. We want to be in that parasympathetic or rest and digest state. So if you're chronically stressed out and you're over freaking out about everything, I mean, for me, I'm so upfront about this, but school stress really played a role on my health and also my past relationship. And it's something that I didn't even want to think about. I was like, I'm perfect. I sleep enough, but my mental health and that partner that I was with was like 20, like it was basically all the stress. Once I left that, my skin cleared up, my sleep got better, and it's sometimes things that we don't want to look at. So I'm looking at all of you. If you are chronically stressed out, you need to figure out where the stress is coming from because stress is ruining your gut health. Other things, refined carbohydrates, so processed carbs in general, the breads and processed foods, weird ingredients, inflammatory oils. What are you making sure that we're avoiding seed oils and vegetable oils? Stick to things like grass-fed butter, ghee, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. Sugar, just overdoing sugar too much of anything isn't good. Doesn't say, don't mean to, avoid fruit forever, but too much of anything can obviously feed that bad bacteria.
Yeah. We got one question coming. What about how bacteria impacts neurotransmitters or even histamine release? Important aspect.
Yeah, I mean, It's definitely important. Like I said, 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. And so something that I was struggling with in college with my gut issues was a lot of anxiety and depression. And once my bowels started to regulate and I did heal my gut, a lot of those mental issues did go away. Obviously, anxiety and depression is not 100% only because, but it can be correlated. And then same with histamine release. When I run a GI map, there are some specific bacteria, when they are elevated, they can actually release more histamine. There's a lot of clients who are struggling with histamine intolerance and they're not able to break down every single histamine food out there. It is usually a gut related issue. Once we heal their gut, they're able to break down histamine a lot better.
I also feel this is the advantage or the beauty of a functional approach, because, if you go to a traditional Western doctor a GI doctor looking at your gut, they're probably, okay, do these tests, but that's only focusing on gut. Maybe give you some fiber pills, but not actually addressing, your potential stress and your mental health issues.
Yeah, and it sucks too because, when I had gone through conventional medicine round, I had a post of this yesterday, but everyone thinks that they have IBS. Everyone's like, I have bowel syndrome. Guys, that's just a symptom. You have constipation, diarrhea, you have stomach issues. Great, you have IBS, but what's the root cause to your IBS? Is it stress? Is it what you're eating? Are you sleeping enough? Because your gut microbiome resets at night. So there's so many factors that go into it. But when you do go through that conventional medicine route, what we learn is that have more fiber. There are OTC meds for constipation and diarrhea. We learn those. And then we learn about drugs that you can prescribe if you have IBS-T or Linzess, for example. So it's super frustrating because they don't discuss diet or lifestyle changes. What we first learn is what the first line and second line of medications are for IBS.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So somebody asked, is gluten-free bread okay for gut?
Well, a lot of gluten-free breads actually have a lot of different ingredients that I may not recommend. So things like citric acid, guar gum. Guar gum is a gum. Guar gum, acacia gum, xanthan gum. I see a lot of those in different processed breads. Those things are thickeners, right? So if you think about it, making the product bigger, they're just going to do the exact same thing in your gut. So I just really recommend trying to avoid as much processed foods as possible. I mean, do you really need all that gluten-free? I like cassava flour tortillas instead. You can make your own homemade bread with cassava flour even. Or I sometimes like to stick to simple rice cakes. It's one ingredient. Like I'll like doing little like toasts with it or something sometimes as a snack. But I really do think trying to avoid as much processed things as possible when you are having gut issues.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a few symptoms like IBS, for example. A lot of people just kind of like default back to that. So what happens when bad bacteria get out of control?
Well, you're going to have all those symptoms that we talked about. Bloating, a lot of my clients struggle with chronic bloating all the time. Too much bad bacteria. Maybe that bad bacteria escapes your large intestine and goes into your small intestine. Everyone thinks they have SIBO. Well, SIBO to me is kind of a dumb diagnosis. And I think a lot of people not agree with me on this, but I think SIBO is just such a stupid term because what it means is that your gut is leaky, meaning you have poor intestinal permeability, your gut lining is leaky, so that bacteria might go from your large intestine and then to your small intestine and cause bloating. So if you just have leaky gut or your gut lining isn't strong enough, well, yeah, it's going to go not only to your small intestine, but elsewhere throughout your gut. So you're going to have bloating. And I think a lot of people just jump to thinking that they have SIBO, but these SIBO breath tests, you guys, highly inaccurate. A lot of them will have false negatives or false positives. Another thing, like I've had clients do 5 in a row and they're like positive, negative, positive, negative. I'm like, see, not right. 2, a GI map will actually give you every single bacteria in your body. And it give you bad bacteria, good bacteria. Are you making digestive enzymes? How's your immune system? Inflammation, parasites, yeast. Versus SIBO is just telling you positive or negative. I'm sorry, what I mentioned there because I forgot what you asked me.
No. This is great. This is great. It looks like we got one more question. Let's see. What can you do about constant gas that causes you burping from the moment you wake up?
All right. Well, for me, it may seem like you have low stomach acid. We need stomach acid to digest our food and absorb our nutrients. And a lot of you people who are struggling with burping and heartburn and acid reflux, it's usually due to too little stomach acid, not too much. I don't care what your conventional medicine doctor is telling you. I have argued about this with my professors and I can send you, but it is due to low. Simple ways you can increase that. I tell clients doing like a little teaspoon of apple cider vinegar before meals, not a shot. Do not do a shot. That can burn your esophagus. You can add in digestive bitters before your meals. You can even just add in more bitter greens like dandelion greens, arugula. These things are bitter herbs to help stimulate your stomach acid. We also need enough stomach acid to help fight off a lot of that bacteria. So if you don't even have enough stomach acid, I mean, no wonder you're getting chronic infections and chronic candida and all these overgrowths because you don't have enough stomach acid to even break and fight those off.
I also want to add an additional benefit of that little spoon of apple cider vinegar before a big meal is actually it helps maintain your blood sugar. When you're eating a high carb meal, it actually like your blood sugar. It's a nice hack.
Yeah, I love that. I actually do love adding apple cider vinegar in the morning, like right when I wake up, a little warm lemon water, some salt, a little apple cider vinegar does stimulate your digestion and does help with blood sugar for sure.
So you're a doctor of pharmacy.
Yeah.
So any supplement you would recommend to help maintain the bacterial balance?
Yeah, I mean, the first step is a good quality probiotic. The number one I personally recommend is from Just Thrive, and this is a spore-based probiotic. You don't need to take a prebiotic, you guys, if you're eating good quality food. I know there's a lot of prebiotic mixed probiotics, but I really think that you can get a lot of prebiotics from your food, like from leeks, garlic, onions, artichokes. These things, asparagus actually has a lot of prebiotics. So if you're already eating well, you should be okay. But a spore-based probiotic will guarantee 100% survivability in your GI tract. A lot of probiotics probably not even making it alive down to your stomach. But I do like the spore-based one from Just Thrive, and I have a code, I think, in my bio if you click on the link. I love it. I had them on my podcast as well. You guys are welcome to listen to that episode where I did interview the founder. But I also think that a lot of people reach for probiotics that are in the fridge. Think about it, you guys. If that probiotic needs to be alive in 60 degrees, like our body temperature is 90. Don't you think it's going to be dead by the time it gets to us? I don't think people like realize that knowledge. Like you're probably just swallowing nothing. So a simple thing, Just Thrive probiotic, and also, just eating well, managing stress, sleeping at the basics. You guys are all trying to reach to crazy supplements. While I love Just Thrive, I do think that you do have to have those foundations in place as well.
Absolutely. What do you do or take during your first trimester pregnancy for bloating?
I mean, Just Thrive, you take that when you're pregnant. So especially if you're pregnant right now, you want to take care of your gut health. You are going your entire gut microbiome to your baby. So if you are pregnant right now, I know it's like a lot of pressure, but like you're in charge of your child's gut microbiome forever. So you want to start really taking care of that now. Bone broth is really great. I know bone broth is trendy, whatever, but it does have really great health benefits. It's very anti-inflammatory. That's something I would add in. I would also add in good quality collagen and gelatin. These also contain anti-inflammatory amino acids for your bloating, but definitely I would start with Just Thrive probiotic because you can use that while you're pregnant and you want to maintain your good bacteria right now while you are, pregnant.
We got one more question. What exact types of bacteria help increase GABA?
I honestly don't know the answer to this. If there's an exact bacteria, like I think there really is. But obviously, you just want to maintain good balance. Everything is going to inhibit or, stimulate more increase of GABA and those neurotransmitters.
I know you have the Trust Your Gut coaching program. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you for asking about that. I'm now in the works of, we just started group 4. And I think what a lot of people, when they come to like, everything's very overwhelming. I really think there's a lot of information out there. And when it comes to my Trust Your Gut program, you meet every other week. And every other week, we do a different topic. The first one is about stress and exercise. The second one's about protein, then carbs, hormones, minerals. we do that slowly because I want you guys to make your health more sustainable. You guys are all reaching to crazy testing, crazy supplements. You're researching, you're following 20 different people. It's really about the basics. I think everyone freaks out, but it really is about the foundations. And so that's kind of what my Trust Your Gut program is giving you these live lectures, live Q&As. You are my client throughout this time. You get a free hair tissue mineral test, a free one-on-one. I mean, I'm really guiding you and teaching you how to maintain your health and feel your best. I have great results for people who commit 100%. And if you are, late to the game, I don't think I'm going to run group 5 until January, but I do sell all of those modules. Guys, these modules, it is my years of practice and learning into just your own video lectures and PDF. That's all you need sometimes. I tell you what supplements to take. I tell you what supplements to avoid. There's a module on your gut. You could just buy one module. You can buy all 10. So I think if you have no idea where to start and you're confused and you're like, I just want to learn, that is for you. A lot of my clients who have done module and even who have done my group coaching actually are health coaches themselves or even trainers, and they utilize all that information in their practice and have helped their clients. And that's really what I want to do. I want to educate and teach you guys. I think a lot of practitioners out there try to cheat you and waste your money, and they make you do like thousands of dollars worth of testing. That is not worth it. It's not worth it to do. I don't even recommend doing crazy amount of testing because, like I said, it really is the foundation. I think everyone is like, I want to test in a supplement to fix my test, but that's basically like you going to the doctor and then giving you a medication for X, Y, and Z issue. It's more than just a supplement or a medication.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And only when you have the foundation, you can actually move forward with any recommendations or any other things.
Yeah.
What are bisphenols? Interesting. Would you like to answer that, or I can answer that?
You can answer that. I feel like I've been talking for so long.
Okay, so bisphenols, we actually test for bisphenols. So bisphenol is a hormone disrupting chemicals that's actually have shown research to impact your gut microbiome, as well as all other, fertility issues to cancer even. Really important to avoid bisphenols. And it's also like bisphenols are usually in can lining, receipt paper, and generally plastic. So we always tell people to avoid plastic as much as possible. Don't touch that receipt, and avoiding canned food. Also canned drinks as much as possible.
Yeah, bisphenol A or BPA is a big one. And, I think something we didn't talk about, but yeah, a lot of these toxic products and toxic ingredients are not only impacting your hormones, because remember, your skin's your largest organ. So what on it is going to be impacting everything, but it can also then be disrupting your liver, which is going to disrupt your gut health. So trying your best to use non-toxic products. And if you're like, what is Kristina talking about? On my page, I have a story highlight called non-toxic, and I share all of my favorite non-toxic products and skincare that I use, because all of my makeup is non-toxic. Everything I put on my hair, I don't use any toxic products. So I think that's something that a lot of people forget about when they are starting their gut healing journey.
Absolutely. We also tell people, from personal care to cosmetic, this is where it's actually the easiest intervention. You just need to purchase a better product. Or, if you don't want to purchase a new one right now when you finish your old one, like get a better one. So it's stress-free. It's easier. I guess it's easier than changing your lifestyle behaviors. And we also have a list of approved product that's toxic-free. So besides your list, anyone wants to check out, feel free to check it out.
Yeah.
And I know you also have a podcast. No BS Health Podcast. Like, what do you talk about?
Yeah, I know. It took me a while to figure out what name. I actually just started it back in February, so I'm about 25 episodes in. It is called No BS Health because it's all things health and wellness with no bullshit. I give my upfront opinion. I swear on it. It's also very conversational, but also it's not just very interview style and serious. I talk about dating, and that does impact your health. It does. I mean, a lot of people is that I talk about my past relationship and how that impacted my mental health and my physical health. I talk about social media. I talk about like fun things and trips, but I also interview, people on probiotics and gut health. So I interview Just Thrive. I interviewed the bone broth founder of Fond Bone Broth. I interview on genetics, Dr. Tyler. I've interviewed so many amazing people. So it's basically everything. And I wanted it to be that way because I feel like a lot of health and wellness podcasts are very serious. And I don't want boring. So it's basically everything health and wellness with no bullshit, no filter. I swear on it. So if you don't like that, maybe don't listen.
I love it because like all those aspects actually feed into your overall health, your gut health, and then your hormone health. It's pretty much everything.
Yeah. And I have a solo gut health podcast episode. If you're listening to this and you're like, wow, Kristina knows a lot about gut health. I have an entire 45-minute podcast episode on just gut health. I have one on hormone basics. So I do have a lot of solo ones as well. I really would just check it out. I have amazing people on there, and I really do share things in depth because it's so hard to on like Instagram and Reels, you know?
I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing everything. We're gonna have to invite you back and talk more in details on different gut health related issues.
Absolutely. Anytime. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. And please DM me, message me if you need anything. And listen to my podcast, please. Thank you.
And check out the listing, the podcast, then join the coaching program.
Yes, and check out my video modules as well. Everything should be linked in my bio.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.